I still remember the day they took it from me. The courtroom smelled like old polished wood and shattered trust. I stood there in my dress uniform, shoulders straight, chest heavy with the weight of everything I'd carried through fire and loss. Right over my heart was the Medal of Honor, the one thing I thought no one could ever take away. My own family sat across the aisle. My older brother wore that familiar smirk. My sister leaned toward our cousin and whispered something. I saw their shoulders shake with quiet laughter. My mother kept her eyes fixed on her hands, twisting a tissue into knots. And my father, he just stared at the floor silent, like the daughter who'd come home alive was somehow harder to face than the son who never did. The judge's voice cut through the room like winter wind. After thorough review of the evidence presented by the petitioners, the court finds sufficient cause to question the circumstances of the award. The Medal of Honor is hereby revoked, effective immediately. Revoked. The word landed like a slap. My ears rang. The room tilted. I felt the bailiff's fingers gently, almost apologetically, unpin the medal from my chest. The ribbon left a faint shadow on the fabric, like a scar that would never fade. They said I'd exaggerated, fabricated, stolen glory that belonged to my brother, their perfect, fallen hero. They claimed I was covering my own fear that day in the mountains. The gallery stirred. Phones were already up, capturing every second of my humiliation. I could hear the murmurs ripple outward. Disgrace. Fraud. I didn't cry. Not there. I walked out of that courthouse with an empty place where honor used to live. And the sound of my family's soft, triumphant whispers behind me. They thought they'd finally put me in my place. They thought they'd buried the sister, who always cast too long a shadow over their golden boy. But they had no idea. They didn't know what my father had done in the quiet darkness of his final months. The secret he kept even from me. That day broke something inside me I didn't know could break. For weeks I barely left my small apartment. The headlines screamed, "Decorated Veterans Medal Revoked. Family Exposes Fraud." Old classmates messaged me. Strangers online tore me apart. Attention seeker. Liar. Disrespect to real heroes. Every word felt like salt in an open wound. My mother came to my door once. She stood there, eyes red and swollen, voice trembling. "We had to, sweetheart. For your brother's memory. You understand, don't you?" I looked at the woman who'd once held me through nightmares and felt only cold emptiness. I closed the door without a word. That was the moment something shifted. I wasn't something to beg for their forgiveness. I wasn't going to explain myself to people who chose to believe lies over their own blood. Instead, I started searching old boxes in storage. Dusty deployment folders. Emails my father sent in secret to people I'd never met. Then I found it, an encrypted folder on his ancient laptop. The password was our childhood dog's name. Simple. Heartbreakingly simple. Inside were witness statements, photographs, medical records from that day, and one sealed envelope, never mailed, addressed to the President of the United States. Postmarked 3 weeks before cancer finally took him, the same year I received the medal. My father had written the nomination himself. 6 handwritten pages. Every detail of that ambush in the mountains, the sudden gunfire, the grenade that should have ended me, the way I dragged 3 wounded Marines to cover while rounds snapped past my head. How I went back for the 4th even after shrapnel tore through my side. He wrote, "My daughter has never been perfect. But that day she became something greater than any of us could imagine. If this nation still believes in courage, then please recognize hers." He'd gathered signatures quietly. The platoon sergeant who'd survived. The lieutenant whose original recommendation mysteriously vanished. 2 of the Marines I pulled from the fire. Men who were told their accounts weren't needed anymore. My father spent his last strength fighting for me. In silence, he never told a soul. Not me, not my mother. Certainly not my siblings who turned the story into a weapon against me. I sat on my floor that night holding those pages, tears finally coming. Not from pain, but from the weight of love. I hadn't seen until it was too late, and I made a decision. They wanted to erase me. I would let the truth speak louder than any lie they could tell. I didn't rush. I waited until the news cycle had moved on. Until people thought the story was finished. Then I sent everything. The nomination letter, the supporting documents, the photographs, my father's final words to the right people at the Department of Defense. Quietly, no press conference. No drama. Just the truth. 3 months later the call came. The original investigation had been reopened. New evidence, undeniable evidence, showed the revocation was based on incomplete and misleading information provided by family members. The secretary himself signed the restoration order. They invited me to a small private ceremony at Arlington. No cameras. Just a few generals, the men I saved that day, and one empty chair where my father should have been. When they pinned the medal back on my chest, It felt heavier than before, not with pride alone, but with the memory of the man who'd believed in me when no one else did. My family was notified. Of course, they weren't invited. I heard my brother tried to contact me afterward, apologies typed in frantic messages. My sister posted vague regrets online, then deleted them. My mother sent one letter. I never opened it. I don't hate them anymore. Hate is too heavy to carry this long. What I carry instead is my father's quiet courage, and the knowledge that real honor isn't something anyone can give or take away. It lives in the moments no one sees and the choices made when the world isn't watching. Sometimes, justice doesn't look like revenge. Sometimes it simply looks like the truth, finally stepping into the light, and when it does, even the people who tried to bury you can't look away. I wear the medal now, not to prove anything to them, but to remember the man who loved me enough to fight for me until his last breath. And every time, I feel its weight against my heart. I whisper the same thing. Thank you, Dad. You were always the real hero.